Hey friends, so are you guys thinking that you guys can do a better job growing your money in the stock market, but then you guys don't know how to start? Well, let me help you with that. I'll tell you guys on how I personally invest my money in Malaysia with as little as 50 ringgit. Oh yeah, this is also basically a follow-up video on the Instagram stories that I posted last time, sharing you guys on why I think you guys should start investing instead of putting your money in the bank. So for people who are interested, you guys can go on to my Instagram account and check out my stories highlight. But if you guys don't want to, I'll just do a quick summary. Basically, all I was saying is that inflation rate on average is around 2% and interest rate is at record low. It's around 1.8% to 2%. So they are basically just offsetting each other. So your money is not growing in the bank. And guess what? Stock market average return is around 8% to 12% over the long term. There you go. Okay, so now that we get it out of the way, let me just address some of the questions you guys have asked me before. Like, how much do I need to invest? Where can I start investing? Where do I learn all this? How much do I need? All this question. I would personally recommend you guys to start by reading books. First book is Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, where it kind of kickstart your mindset about saving and investing and how you can make money work for you instead of you working for money. And the second book is The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, where it gives you a really simple formula to follow, and basically all you have to do is just follow that formula and you can achieve financial freedom. I know most of you are not gonna read the book, so you guys probably just want me to get started on the video. Okay, fine. Alright, so first, ask yourself this. Are you ready to invest? Do you have any high interest debt that hasn't been paid off, like credit card debt? Because credit card companies can charge you up to 20% per annum on interest if you're not paying that off. Imagine this. Not just that you're not making any money, instead you are guaranteed to lose 20% of your money every year. So, settle your debt first before investing. Next, do you have any spare money to invest right now? What I mean by this is, do you have any spare money that can be set aside for 10, 20, 30 years time without touching it? Why? Because stock market in the short term can be irrational. However, in the long term, it is rational. I just want you guys to make sure you guys can continue living without having to sell your stocks at a loss during bad times, So let's say one day you hit someone's car on the road and that guy is a gangster, okay? He's now threatening you to pay to fix his Proton Saga, but your broke ass only has 100 ringgit in your bank account. So in this case, what do? You have no choice but to sell your stocks because if you don't pay him, he's gonna kill you, okay? And just so happen when you want to sell, it crashed 50%. Even though you know next year it's gonna come back up, you have no choice, you still have to sell because he's gonna kill you, okay? So you sold them at a loss and then 1 year later it came back up and then it just keep on going up and up and up. And now you're just crying in your blanket, regretting that you didn't have an emergency fund saved up. So moral of the story is, only invest the money that you don't need and always have an emergency fund. Alright, last questions. Are you a passive investor or an active investor? A passive investor is someone who ignores the ups and downs of the market and just buy and hold the company until they retire. Whereas an active investor is someone who closely monitors the prices of each company and identifies selling and buying opportunities and try to beat the market's return. Just FYI, I found this study online that says out of 2,100 actively managed funds in the US, only 0.6% of them managed to beat the market over a 30 years time frame. So in other words, 99% of them fail. If you happen to be that 1%, make sure you hit me up. I'll sell my kidney just to invest in you. And so I'll recommend you guys to start as a passive investor just like I did and start from there. I'm currently in Australia and most of my money are invested into Australian stocks and the US stocks. And some of the money that I have in Malaysia are invested into robo-advisor, which are apps designed to help you invest into exchange traded fund ETF. And they give you a similar return to the market and they charges you a very small fee on that. Here are some of the options that I have found in Malaysia. I personally go with Stashaway because they do not have any minimum requirement on investment. So you can start with as little as 5 ringgit, as much as 1,000 ringgit. Besides that, they also have one of the lowest fee in the industry. Okay, so here's a step-by-step video guide on how you guys can get started with Stashaway. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you guys the Stashaway app. So you log in. And over here, you have your total asset on your top left corner. And in the middle, you have your investment portfolio. And then you have cash account. And then at the bottom, you have market insights where they tell you what's happening around the world. And on the second page, performance is basically how your account value has changed over the time. And this is mine. Yep. And Academy is where they teach you the basics of personal finance and investing. So I think you guys should definitely check this out if you guys want to learn more about personal finance and investing, transactions. So now I'm going to show you guys how to set up your investment portfolio. So you press new portfolio, general investing. So here you have two options: core, which is the safer one and is less volatile, and then the higher risk one is slightly more volatile, but it achieves higher returns over the long term. And so within the core, you guys will have this thing called the Stashaway risk index, which basically determines how much risk you're willing to take and how aggressive you want to invest. So as you can see, the more aggressive you are, the more they'll invest into equity side. Equity is basically just shares. And on the other hand, if you're more conservative, they will invest more into corporate and government bonds. And bonds are just like government and corporates borrowing money from us, and they'll pay us a fixed interest on it. So you can say that it's a fairly safe investment. And on the higher risk one, they basically just invest more onto equity. As you can see, if you go to the more aggressive one within the higher risk index, they basically invest more than 70% into equity. They invest into small cap, healthcare, international equity, which is investing into other countries like China, Japan. Yeah. Okay, so once you have chosen this portfolio, you press continue. And then you press confirm, understand. Okay, manual deposit. Okay, so for me, I want to deposit one time. So I'll press set up one-time deposit. And then this one is my first general investing portfolio, which is the one on the first page that you guys saw just now. The new one that I created is this one. So I'll put 50 ringgit. You press continue, continue. And then once you're here, they'll give you the details that you need to use to deposit money in. So here you have a biller code and a reference. So what you need to do is just go to your Maybank app or something and press on JomPay and just type in biller code and reference ID and how much you are depositing. And after that, you just press done. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for your time, and make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you found anything useful in this video, and comment down below if you have any other questions you want to ask me, and I'll be more than happy to answer every single one of them.